Come one, come all, come big, come small. It's so good to see each and every one of you guys. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right?
It is Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, best friends. Happy Wednesday. So good to see you. Come on in the room. Hey, everybody, come on in. We have a really good topic for you guys on this evening. What is the title, Sean, of
Um,
today's video?
Fertility, divorce, and co-parenting.
Ooh, do they go? Fertility,
They go in our case.
divorce. Let me write this down.
Uh-huh.
And
Parenting.
co-parenting.
Yes, just like that.
Ooh,
Just
I
like
feel
that.
I feel the heat coming from the kitchen on
Uh-oh.
this one. Okay, I feel it. I feel it. Before we start to unpack tonight's conversation, because it has the potential to be a really, really good one, would you like us to introduce ourselves?
Sure.
I typically go first, but I would like for you to go first tonight.
Well, I am Shawn Johnson. Hey, everybody.
And who is Sean Johnson?
Shawn Johnson is a self-published author, and yeah, just living my life. That's who Shawn Johnson is.
Okay. Well, hello, Miss Sean Johnson. For those of you guys who are new to the page, maybe you have never seen me before, I am Candy Sincerity Johnson. I am also a self-published author and an entrepreneur. Together, Sean and I are both the co-owners of the number one fashion brand, um, Sincerity Johnson. But the reason why you see us sitting at the table is because we usually document our journey of this thing called life. Before it was our life together, now it is our lives apart. And it is the highs, the lows, all of the hiccups and everything that we experience on the way.
Yeah.
And so we just come to the table multiple times a week, sometimes every night, and we just have conversations that are necessary. And so when we see certain things trending and people talking about things that apply, we bring it to the table and we bring it to the community. So here we sit, best friends.
I think sometimes we have the conversations that people typically don't want to have or don't like to have, or we
Ooh.
make you look at things in a different perspective. So that's what we like to do. We like to think over here. And so if you just want to agree with everything that we say, this ain't the right place. We don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for the hearts. And I tell y'all all the time, it's so refreshing when we get hearts. When we get hearts, when we get the thumbs up, because it sets the tone for the conversation. It sets the tone for the energy and the atmosphere. Because when we're live, we're talking essentially to a phone, and we see people, commenting and so forth. But sometimes it's hard to gauge the temperature in the room, and you don't know if people are connecting with what you're saying or whatnot. And so that's just a warm and fuzzy feeling that kind of helps us get started.
yes.
So fertility, divorce, and co-parenting. I think you kind of put it in order
Yeah.
as it relates to the title.
Yeah.
Let's start with fertility. Why are we talking about fertility? Do you know?
Well, I know you said you wanted to address it because it seems to have been a trending type of topic lately where people have been sharing their fertility journeys. And also, one of the things that people have been noticing is that people are wondering why some same-sex couples are choosing to use a donor outside of their race.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that.
So this conversation, best friends, really sparked with Debrat and Judy. So Debrat and Judy, for those of you guys who don't know, Debrat is she claims Chicago, but girl, a Joliet, Illinois native, and she is a well-known rapper from the 90s. Her and her wife Judy, I wasn't trying to be shady, but her and her wife Judy have recently had Judy has prior children, but her and Debrat together just had their first child.
He's so cute.
And so Debrat carried, their son. And so there was conversations being had about the process, the journey, everything they experienced. And a lot of things that people in the community were saying is, girl, like, why do y'all gays always be having these children, girl? And y'all go all over creation to find donors, and the donors are never black. So there has been an above board conversation, and then there's been a behind the curtain conversation. And so this conversation has been stirring within the Black LGBTQ plus, is that what the kids say? The
Yes.
alphabet kids
Yeah.
plus community, and so when I kept seeing it over and over again, different social media personalities that are a part of the community have addressed their journey, shared their story, and so forth. And I told Sean, I said, everybody's sharing their story, but to date, we have one of the oldest ones on record.
Yes, we do. We shared our story, I think, when I looked it up 6 years ago?
Yeah.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of best friends who have joined us along the journey, but you may or may not even know, how we came to be parents and what that process entailed and all of the details.
Absolutely.
So you wanna share?
Sure. So I don't know exactly how you want me to do it, but I'll just do it. So for those that don't know, we do have a set of 9-year-old twins, boy-girl twins, and they are just everything to us. But some people, when they see the twins, we call them Kin K. That's what you guys usually know them as well. When people see Kin K and they see us, a lot of people automatically assume that I carry the children.
They do.
And that is not the case. I did not carry the twins. I have never been pregnant, and I've never birthed any children. So Candy actually was the one to carry our babies. She was the blessing to me, to bless me to become a mom, because I was not able to do that for myself. And so, so she carried the twins. And so some people were trying to figure out, are they adopted? Are they biologically yours and all of that? Yes, they are biologically our babies, because Candy went 9 long, difficult months to get them here, okay? And we did have to obviously use fertility. And our journey is probably kind of similar to a lot of stories that you may have heard, I don't know. But our donor was not Black either. And so a lot of people, when they used to see the twins when they were babies, always kind of would look at them a little funny, because they looked at them and they did not look African American, especially Kennedy. And so we would get the questions. Remember that time when we took them to daycare that one time, and all of the daycare teachers were like, we want to ask you something and we hope we don't offend you.
Sure did.
But what's their nationality?
Sure. Yes, so, they did ask us that. And
so we had them guess. We had guesses from Hawaiian to Samoan to Asian. So we had all types of guesses being made, and I just thought it was so funny, because Kennedy, when she was younger, did look a little Asian. But to answer the question, they are actually Mexican and Black. Our donor was Mexican. And I'm sure Candy will tell you how we got to choose a Mexican donor.
So one of the reasons, and let's start here too, best friends. One of the reasons that a lot of Black couples end up choosing a donor outside of their race is because when you look at the criteria, when you look at the sperm donors, most fertility doctors usually say, hey, there's about 3 sperm banks across the country that are like the top tier that we use for obvious reasons. We would prefer you to find a donor at one of these 3 sperm banks. So when you go through, you're looking at the criteria of all of the people who you could select, 9 out of 10 times, those donors are going to be outside of the African American race. Last statistic I looked up, and I actually Googled it, they said out of all the donors across the nation, 2% out of 100 people that's donating sperm, girl,
that's giving them they see.
You see what I'm saying? Out of 100 men in line, girl, down at the sperm bank, 2 of them out of 100. Let's do easy numbers. 2 out of 100 are Black.
Yep.
So the pickings are very slim. So then begs the question, best friends, when you're making a decision to have a child, or you're making a decision to have children, or to expand your family, there's obvious things that you're going to look for. And what people look for is going to differ depending on the couple. One of the biggest things for Sean and I was that background. Mental and physical health. We want to know that historically, we want to control the controllables, but historically we want to know that you have a solid, healthy background, and that your family has a solid history of, good or decent health. And so it started to weed a lot of folks out.
Yeah.
And if I could be transparent, that's how we weeded out the 2 out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was, because you have to also understand that in the African American community, we have to worry about the sickle cell trade, and all of those things. And if you don't know the background, then you're taking a chance there. And then, like Candy said, when we were looking through the possibilities, a lot of the African American donors, they had a history of cancers or mental issues, or high blood pressure, diabetes. Like, it was just a lot of things. And so, because they have to be very honest, or they're supposed to be very honest when they do that. And so we were like, we don't want to pile on top of what we already have the risk of, so let's try to eliminate that. So that's where that came from. Auntie Fee even said it. She said that, I think it's because there's not that many black guys that want to donate, and I really don't know why. And like Candy said, that's statistically what it is. So that is the reason why we ended up choosing a donor outside of our race.
Well, in addition to that too, you also have to factor in historically too. Let's be honest, the black community hasn't had the best relationship with the health care field, and as it relates to science either. So our trust when it comes to those things has not been high. You also have to look at some of the other things that were mentioned in articles too, because I wanted to, when the topic became a thing, I said, okay, I could share our experience, you could share your experience as it relates to us. Then Debrat is gonna share hers, and some of the other bloggers and vloggers and YouTubers and everybody's sharing theirs. But at the end of the day, what's the masses saying? What's the real issues? And they were saying exactly what we said. It's health issues. It's the fact that only 2% out of 100. And then they also talked about the fact that historically, these sperm banks are run and controlled by typically other cultures, right? And so those other cultures are marketing to the people who they want to serve. And those people are not typically us. And so it's very similar to what I teach entrepreneurs when I'm working with entrepreneurs in the coaching environment. Everybody's not your customer.
Right.
Every business and every store has what's called an avatar. And so the avatar for most of these sperm banks are people who don't look and sound like us. They're marketing their services to very affluent, Caucasian families who may be having fertility issues. Maybe it's the doctor and his wife. Maybe it's the couple that has been trying for years, and maybe they're getting up in age. Those are the people who they're typically after. They're typically not after us.
Right.
And so we happen to be those folks that wander into the store to still buy. When you at the mall, maybe Lane Bryant is not necessarily putting their ads in front of you, but you still shop there.
Yeah.
You're the outlier. You're still a customer of theirs. Same concept. You're still a customer of theirs, but at the end of the day, the ads are not talking to you. And so it's one of those things where, you can come in and you can participate, you can be a part of the journey, and you could take advantage of these services. But sis, we're not going out of our way. Let me be brutally honest. We're not putting our coin behind making sure your community is populated.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
The only thing that you can do is just hear the facts and understand what they are, and work with what you got. So
exactly.
That's what it was. But yeah, so that's what it was. Do you have anything else to share? Because we do have a couple of questions.
No, we can dive into some questions.
Okay.
What questions do you guys have as it relates to our fertility journey?
So Lamel said, I was wondering why you tried to have a child if you were already having issues. Your children are beautiful. So actually, Lamel, at the time that we were going through our fertility, we were not having issues.
We were married.
We were 2 years into our marriage. We were happily married. Candy had just started her business not too long ago. So we were, so I was working for her as her office manager in her business. We were good. So there were no issues at that time.
That's inside of the first book, Best Friends.
So the issues that you hear us talking about was after our kids.
Well after
our children. Let me see. Where is it at? That was another question. Oh, Agatha said, what race is the donor? Not that it matters. The kids are beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
But our donor was Mexican.
So Kennedy and Caleb are proud to be Black and Mexican. They tell everybody.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So those were the only two questions. I wish that I still had that iPad so I could show the pictures of when you were pregnant because you were so cute. But Candy had a very, I don't know if you want to talk about this at all.
You
Candy
can.
had a very, when I say difficult, like
I
extremely
don't know why the comments keep getting stuck.
extremely difficult pregnancy. The first 6 weeks, it seemed like it was gonna be easy peasy. We was like, oh, this is good. She was feeling good. We was able to move around. We even went on a trip for her 30th birthday right before we found out that she was expecting and all of that. So we thought this was gonna be smooth sailing. It seemed like as soon as Candy hit 6 weeks of pregnancy, it was all bad from until the babies got here. When I tell you she was sick every day, could barely eat, was not feeling well, it was so difficult the entire pregnancy. So I know some people ask, was the fertility process hard? No, the fertility process was like a breeze. When I say this is like fertile myrtle, like I don't know what was going on with her.
I used to be.
Used to be. Oh, that's right. She used to be.
I've had a hysterectomy since.
But I tried to conceive prior to Candy in previous relationships, never was able to conceive. And so I was just like, okay, clearly it's not going to happen. It's not meant for me. And so I was always telling Candy when we were going through that process, I said, don't get your hopes up high. They say it's not, you have a slim chance the first time around. We may have to do this a few rounds, et cetera, et cetera. And she was like, okay. And literally, we were blessed to get pregnant the very first try. First try, first round, boom, done with twins.
So if you remember, we did insemination. We did insemination a couple of weeks before my 30th birthday. Sean, for my 30th birthday, took me to Miami. And she flew me to Miami. We had an amazing vacation. But I knew that I had just went through fertility about a week or two before. And I knew there was a small chance, although small, I knew it was a small chance that I could be pregnant. So for my 30th birthday, I didn't drink.
Yep.
We partied a little bit, but I was sitting there drinking Coca-Cola or water. And so I remember us going to the Miami Heat game. The whole time we were there, we would go to dinner at fancy restaurants in the evening, and then during the day, Sean would always say, well, what you want to eat, girl? What you want to eat? And I would always say, girl, Checkers fries. Checkers fries.
She could not stay away from Checkers.
And I remember telling Sean, I'm pregnant.
And I was like, girl, we just did insemination like a week and a half ago. What you mean?
And so in Sean's mind, she was just like, girl, that's those fertility drugs, because they told us the fertility drugs are going to make you feel the same hormonal imbalances. Your nipples might be tender. Your breasts might swell. And I'm already, girl. So I'm sitting out to here and I'm feeling just full, and just everything with my body was just different. And a woman who's very in tune with her body, your body. So I just was telling Sean, I said, I just knew. I was like, I'm pregnant. And Sean was like, okay. I could see her like rolling her eyes like, girl, whatever.
I was like, okay, girl, we gonna be patient and we gonna wait, and then we gonna get on back home and we gonna see what's really going on. But needless to say, I know Auntie Fee was asking, did you have to try several times before you actually were pregnant? And no, it was the first try. First try, done. Hold on one second, you guys, because for whatever reason, one of the situations is having an issue.
Did you need an update? Okay.
I checked that.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
But no, to answer Auntie Fee's question, first try, and it was successful. So no, we did not have to try multiple times.
Yeah.
Let me see. Catherine said, how did you choose who would carry the children? Well, it was easy for us to choose because, like I said, I had tried before Candy and I's relationship, and I was just like, it's not working. So.
We actually tried insemination. I don't know if you remember. We actually tried insemination before we moved up here. Do you remember that?
We sure did.
We
sure did. I tried one time. So I tried previous to Candy, and then we tried one time together, and it was still not successful. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. I tried multiple ways. I'll just put it that way, just to spare you know. But
Go ahead and tell the people, girl.
I tried naturally when I was dating men. Okay, I tried naturally.
Girl, he was shooting blanks.
Clearly not. He has a child. But yes, I tried naturally when I was dating men, and then I also tried with my girlfriend previous to Candy, and it didn't. So I was just like, and then me and Candy tried one time. So I was like, clearly, it's not in the cards for me. So that's how we chose, because I had tried multiple times and it wasn't successful. So let me see. Will the children ever, as time go on, know their other family? Oh, so do you mean like the donor's family? Is that what you mean? Clarify that for me, Deborah, if that's what you mean.
I'm assuming she does. So,
Okay.
so to answer your question, best friend, one of the things that we were intentional about is selecting an open donor.
Mm-hmm.
So we did choose an open donor. So what an open donor allows them to do is it allows the kids to, at the age of 18, get access to information on him. Mm-hmm. They'll get his legal name, all of his contact information, and then as long as he still remains open to it, he can reach out to them, they can reach out to him, etc., and they can establish whatever they decide is good relationship boundaries. Mm-hmm. And so right now, the way that the sperm bank has it set up is that you have to, and I'm chuckling, you have to register your child, similar to how we had to register BJ.
I know it sounds terrible.
It sounds horrible.
You guys, but
it's literally, you have to document. So from the time you get pregnant, you have to document that. Mm-hmm. Then from the time you have a successful delivery, you have to document that. Mm-hmm. If for whatever reason, God forbid, you have an unsuccessful delivery, or there's something medically, wrong with the child, you have to document that. Mm-hmm. This donor has so many kids.
Yes.
There's so many. Kennedy and Caleb have so many brothers and sisters out there. Mm-hmm. Have brothers and sisters. It is insane. If I had to guess, just a wild guess based on everything and all the notifications and everything from the sperm bank, it's probably 20 something of them easily.
Wow. Yeah.
Easily. And you have to think these are people of all different races and ethnicities. Mm-hmm. Now, if Kennedy and Caleb end up dating someone who's Hispanic in any way, shape, form, or fashion, they have to do a DNA test before they have sex.
Now, don't you oh, you said before sex. I was gonna say before marriage.
Both, girl.
For heterosexual couples, I don't know this, so you guys can answer this question for me.
For the straights.
Yeah, for the straights. When y'all get married, aren't you supposed to do a DNA test?
Girl, they probably did that back in the 40s, but they probably ain't doing
it. They don't do that
no
more?
Girl, I don't think they care.
I don't know why. I thought I heard that or thought that was a thing, that when as a straight, you're supposed to get a DNA test.
To make sure y'all not kissing.
Yeah, to make sure you're not kin.
I don't see them doing that no more.
Welcome to D24X for following, honey. Welcome to the family.
Thank you, best friend.
So let me know, best friends. I don't know why I thought I heard that, read that, something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Elisa said, did you ask for multiples? Does it work like that, or is it just a luck of the draw? That's a good question.
That's a good question. So, best friends, multiples, when I say multiples run in my family, I mean multiples run in my family. When I look at the combination of both sides of my family, Kennedy and Caleb are the 9th set. Mm-hmm. They are the 9th set of twins. So when you say we're the twins, you got to be very specific. Mm-hmm. In fact, one of my cousins, my cousin Lenore, was here from LA mm-hmm. for the wedding. My cousin Lenore has 4 kids. All 4 of her boys are twins. She got 2 sets of twins. So when I say twins running the family, we really, really mean twins running the family. So you couple the fact that there's a genetic propensity for twins in my family, plus adding the fertility medicine, it was almost destined to happen. Mm-hmm. So what I didn't know was that when you, I learned a lot about how, I guess, babies work when we were going through that process. A lot of stuff that you think you know that you don't know. Mm-hmm. Like I thought it was something with the mother and the father that create twins, but it's something with the woman that creates the twins. It's the mother that determines whether it's twins or not. It's her body. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know we looked that up.
Right.
So your memory is better than mine.
Right.
I know it is dependent on one. Like some people think, like you said, that they both contribute. No, it's whatever is popular in the mother's family.
Right.
So,
well, it's the splitting of her cells. Yeah. So yeah.
Just like I learned the whole difference between fraternal and identical twins. You would think you would know that, and I didn't know. Like literally, I didn't know until we conceived that if you saw a boy-girl twin, there's no way for them to be identical.
And people was looking at us like we was crazy. They said, "Can a boy be identical to a girl?"
They were like, "Think about it." But scientifically, identical is identicals because it's just coming from one egg and splitting off, and then it makes a duplicate of each other.
Right.
And so I didn't know that until literally we were pregnant, and I was reading all these books, and I used to read What to Expect When Expecting. We used to sit down and read chapters at night and all that type of thing. Like we were those people. And so yeah, it's just very interesting all the things that we learned. One of the best friends said, Sean, hope it's not too personal. Did you have a medical condition that prevents you from conceiving? So it's funny, Darnese, no doctor actually had diagnosed me and said, you're infertile. So I never got like a diagnosis or anything like that. I just pretty much chalked it up and was like, it must not be. So no, I never was medically diagnosed to have anything or be infertile or anything like that. I guess once I made the decision to say I'm not going to conceive, then I just left it alone. I could have probably went through testing and did all these things, but I didn't go that route. So I guess I diagnosed myself, but no doctor ever said you're infertile.
You think you threw in the towel too soon?
Sometimes I think about that.
Wow.
Sometimes I do think about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
Sometimes I do feel like I gave up too soon because I should have probably got tested and figured out if there really was a medical condition because nobody ever told me that.
Right. Wow.
So, let's see. Oh, yeah, best friends are like, no, they don't require blood tests anymore. When you get married, okay, so they stopped that a long time ago. Let me see. Oh, Melanie said she's a fraternal twin.
Yeah, there's a best friend over here that said that she's a twin too, Lady B.
Dope.
Yeah, she said she's got a twin brother. And then best friend over here, Lady B said, Sean, have you had a hysterectomy?
I have. Yes, I actually got mine in 2016. If you read this book, that's kind of where a lot of stuff turned around in our relationship.
Something happened while Sean was in the hospital.
While I was undergoing surgery. Let's see.
And it wasn't a complication either.
Right, not at all. Let's see. LaMel said, okay, I'm reading book page 98. I think it was I am talking about next chapter is about the journey of the sweet babies. I just received this weekend and started the book Monday night on chapter 9. I'm not a book reader, but I am enjoying your book. Thank you so much. So it's right on time. You reading about the babies now. That's dope. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Gwendol. She said y'all so sweet to each other.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Darnese said, sorry about that, Sean. I didn't mean to. Oh no, I've made peace with it. I have made peace with it. It was difficult. I would have my moments sometimes, especially when Candy was going through her pregnancy. I would sometimes have my moments, but I've made peace with it. So no, it doesn't make me sad. I can talk about it fine.
I didn't know that. You had a hard time when I was pregnant?
Sometimes. But I didn't want to bring it to you because I didn't want it to take away from your experience.
Well, I couldn't tell.
And you was...
I couldn't tell you was occupied. Ask Sean, look. Somebody asked Sean, when Candy was sick and doubled over, what were you doing to occupy yourself?
Cleaning up after you.
And?
Having some inappropriate conversations to pass the time. Okay. Since you're going to throw me under the bus. For Saria, I feel like I messed that name up, and I'm sorry, love. She said, are you done with having kids? Well, we're no longer together. So we would never have kids together. I don't want any more children. So once I start dating again and I meet someone, if they have kids already, that's perfectly fine. But I don't want any more kids. My diapering days, bottle days, diaper bag days, daycare day, all that's over for me. I'm about to be 44 years old. I no. Mm-mm. So I'm done.
So for me, I'm open to it. Very similar to Sean, I had a hysterectomy last year. So last summer I had a hysterectomy. So physically I cannot carry kids, right? So if I were to have children, it would be because the person that I married either wanted more children or didn't have children, and we would have children together inside of that union. But that would be the only way that I would have more children. And arguably, I'm 40. So if it's going to happen, it better happen, within the next 3 to 4 years. It's got to happen. So, yeah.
Miss Lady B said Brad used Judy's eggs. Did you consider using Sean eggs? We didn't consider that. Nope, we didn't even consider that. Monica said my first pregnancy, I was pregnant with twins. However, I had one baby in my uterus and one in my tube. My tube ruptured and I lost both. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. Let's see. Jessica said I'm about to go back and reread both of these books.
Yeah.
Hey Joe. Joe said,
Hi, Joe.
Joe said, Brandy has me reading one of the books, and I must say I'm entertained. Oh Lord, which one? Oh well, did she get the other one already?
Hopefully, it's
because I know she had this one first.
That one is heavy,
right? Did she get this one yet, Joe? Which one you reading? Say one or two.
Say sausage dick.
One. But if he says he's thoroughly entertained, I bet you.
Hey, best friends. Yes.
Probably that one. All right, let's see. They said stop telling the book. We not.
Oh, we're not giving no details.
The little bit of stuff that we didn't just talk about, girl, that's probably a page and a half in the entire book. Let's see. He said book 2. Oh, so you've been reading Resurrection. Oh boy. Okay. He said no, it's 2. He said sausage. Jessica said, honey, that first book was hot, honey.
Yeah.
You know, it had a couple, 2-3 things in there.
A few things happened in book 1.
There's a couple, 2-3 things.
Some things happen in book 1.
We'll be talking about that at the virtual event.
I know that's right.
By the way, if you have not gotten your seat for the virtual event, you definitely want to do that. Okay?
Somebody claim they seat.
This is night 1. Okay, this is night 2. We'll see everybody there that has already signed up.
I'll bring a fan for myself for night 1. A fan.
I'm sure nobody will have questions about that.
Yeah.
Jessica said, Sean, I need your book too. Well, it's on the website, honey. It's on Candy's website, CandySincerityJohnson.com. Just go to the book tab. For those that don't know, she's talking about my book, Voyeurism. This one has nothing to do with us. This is all fiction, short stories.
You gonna play and say that it don't have nothing to do with us, and you use?
It might be loosely based.
It's loosely. There are a lot of things that are loosely
based. It might be loosely based on a couple, 2-3 things.
I happen to have been the inspiration for said. I wasn't.
You and some other folks too.
Some other folks?
I had to pull from a lot of things.
Was
yeah.
Was
yeah.
Was
not really. Mainly those. Yeah. Okay.
Well, back on subject. Fertility,
Sorry,
divorce, and co-parenting.
So that is our. Lady B said was. What you mean? Right. You know she was asking those questions. Who named y'all right? Don't worry about it. You know.
I know that's right.
So that is that's our fertility. Does anybody have any more questions about our fertility journey? So now, like Candy said, I think what makes our story a little bit different than those stories that you're going to be hearing from other people is majority of the people that are sharing their story, they're still with their partners. They're still married or they're still together. They may be attempting to have more children together, all of those things. But with us, we're no longer together. So we've been divorced for years, and we just decided to go our separate ways. So now that's the reason why we said fertility, divorce, and co-parenting, because we are going to be co-parenting. And so now we are trying to navigate that, trying to figure out what that looks like, trying to make sure that, the twins are least impacted as possible with everything that's going on. And so for us, it's a little bit different. So we can talk about our fertility journey, and it's great and it's wonderful and it was a great experience. She cried, I cried, all that. But now it's life after.
But it's like, okay, girl, y'all not together no more. So what does this look like?
Right. So what does this mean now?
What did best friend say?
Who? Oh, Lord?
Right here.
Oh, D said Candy sure deems herself to be a sex pot. She's like, y'all better ask somebody. Hilarious.
Well, no, I'm not a sexpert. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm. You can use that.
I'm not a sexpert. I don't claim to be a sexpert. I just know what I know. I just know what I know. And here's what I know, best friends. Somebody was in my bushes. Huh? Here's what I know. Somebody begged me to never take it away from them.
Wow.
That's all I know.
Well, that ain't in the book, but wow.
That's all I know. That's all I know. I just know what I know.
Let's see.
I don't know much, but I do know what I know.
Kia says, since you were sick a lot, did you have a difficult delivery?
No, girl, I was high-fiving them people. I was hugging them people. I did everything short of bring gifts. They kept saying, you're the happiest lady that we've ever seen going into what they call it?
C-section.
Going into had a C-section. I said, ma'am, do you see how big I am? I ain't ate in like a year almost. Everything that I put down twice come up.
Right.
I said, I've been so depressed and so miserable and so unhappy the past 9-10 months. I said, do you know what I have planned for tonight? The lady said, well, you're going to be here. And I said, yeah, but somebody's going to give me Portillo's.
And I did.
Somebody's going to give me Portillo's.
As soon as they cleared her to eat food, she was like, this is my order. Okay. They have the babies. Scurry along and come back.
Girl, them
Bring the babies back.
So, nowadays, and I don't know, it might be different in you guys' local area, but here at the hospitals here, nowadays, they make you keep the babies in the room. I kept asking the nurse, I was putting the call light on, like, can y'all come get them? I'm trying to eat.
Is it?
The lady said,
did y'all forget these kids was in here?
The lady was like, it's bonding time. We don't do that no more. They stay with you. I said, well, who gonna watch them? I need a babysitter while I eat. The lady said, but then they gotta eat. Okay, well, they can't eat if I don't eat. Right. Don't you understand basic science? I'm like, I gotta eat. I ain't ate in 9 months. So no, I had a great delivery.
Do you remember that one night we literally begged them to come and get the twins because we were so tired?
Yeah.
And they finally came and got them. When I tell you, I think me and Candy slept like we hadn't slept in 16 years. It was.
They just hid them behind the nurse's station.
It was crazy. Crazy. We was so asleep. And they brought them kids back in that room and we was like
I was scared to be alone with them, remember?
Candy was.
You remember the night that you had to go, they were talking about releasing me and you had to go to the house to get the car seats. I said, well, why you didn't bring the car seats to begin with? You gotta leave. Who gonna stay here with them? I'm gonna break them. Look at these little people.
Said, you're fine. You are their mother.
Girl, I was like, I'm gonna break them. Somebody take them with you. Call my mom and them, tell them to come over here and watch these kids while you go. Girl, I was so scared. I was scared.
Honey.
I was so scared.
But when I tell you, like, I already knew that Candy was gonna be an awesome mom. But when I tell you, like, I saw a completely different side of Candy. When we got home with these kids and she really got into the groove with them, she would sing to them and she would cuddle up with them and hold them and rock them. Like, she was so, not was, but she is so nurturing. Like, it was crazy. Like, of course, I guess I wouldn't have ever seen that side of her, but she was just like, I was like, man, it was just, I just, sometimes I would just stop and just stare at her and just watch her with them. It was so crazy.
I still do. Kennedy and Caleb are almost my height. And to this day, it's not uncommon for me to be sitting on the couch and I could be having a conversation. They did it at Granny's house. When we were over there with the family and we had cousins and stuff from out of town. Kennedy and Caleb, as big and tall as they are, as long as their legs are, will crawl up in my arms, lay on my chest, and I kiss their forehead and I will start singing to them. I don't care. And can't even sing. And I told them, and somebody said, one of my cousins said, how long you gonna cuddle with them? I said, until the day they tell me I can't no more. I don't care if they 40. It's gonna be some things that happen. I tell y'all all the time, it's gonna be some things that happen in your life. You gonna want to crawl up in your mama's arms.
Facts.
And as long as they willing, baby, my arms will always be open to them. And that's just how I am. And I think, and I tell them all the time, it comes from a place for me. And for me, it comes from the fact that my family was very loving and very supportive, but they weren't very affectionate. And so it forced me as an adult to be very affectionate. I'm very affectionate. I'm very lovey-dovey, touchy-feely. You know, I'm very that. So I overcompensate with them. Because I don't ever want them to grow up having to read a birthday card that they love, that I love them. I tell them every chance I get. If they came downstairs and was just going to watch TV after getting out the shower, I'm like, hey, baby, I love you. Just constantly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah. So, any other, Miss Bernita, welcome to the family, honey. You just started following. We love you and appreciate you. So, any questions? Does anybody have any questions for us in regards to fertility, divorce, or co-parenting? Honey.
Well, we talked about fertility. We ain't saying nothing about divorce and co-parenting. We gave them the warm and fuzzy.
Well, we kind of did, because one of the best friends asked us, do we want to have any more kids? So we kind of talked about that. You said you're open and you're in your next relationship, and I said I'm done.
Well, next marriage, girl. I'm not
next marriage. Yeah.
I'm not playing baby mama.
Yeah, I'm done. No more babies for me.
Yeah. Now, as it relates to divorce and co-parenting.
Oh, we do have one other question. Miss Sharon said, did you actually pick who you wanted the father to be by pictures?
We do. Well, we have his baby picture. We never got adult pictures of him. But we did it based off his baby picture.
Yeah.
Girl, the people at the place was like, he's so handsome. I was like, girl, what's his Instagram?
Yeah, because didn't they have like write-ups from the staff to say their opinion on how they perceived him to look, like his description and stuff like that? Didn't they have voice clips from some of the staff too?
They did.
They talked about, what he looks like and things like that. And like Candy said, we had his baby picture. So we did have all that information in the family history and things like that. So we were able to choose based off of that.
You could definitely hear the fact that he's Mexican. You could hear it in his the voice clip. You could.
Yeah.
You could. But it's very interesting because we always had a conversation about nature versus nurture. And so it's interesting because Kennedy and Caleb have never met him. They didn't know anything about him. And so ever since the kids were little, Caleb was always into like science and engineering and math and all of that. And then when we went back through all the details, their donor or father was working on his master's degree in engineering when he decided to become a donor, and he was doing it for extra money as a college student. And so I found that to be interesting because that's just a genetic connection. You know.
And I wonder if he played sports.
I don't know.
I'm curious about that now.
I don't know. But I do remember us intentionally picking him because he was tall and I'm short.
Yeah.
And I told you, I said, if it's a boy, girl, I mean, you can't help who you fall in love with if it's a situation like that. But girl, if we just have to go down to the store and pick, girl,
if we got the catalog,
if we got the catalog open, girl, let's find somebody that's tall and handsome. Since we couldn't get dark, let's do tall and handsome.
Right. Barbara said, was he in your region? No, he wasn't. Nope. D said, who chose their names? Well, you chose Kennedy's name.
Yeah.
And I think we both came up with Caleb.
So when I say these kids are named after everybody,
Yeah, yeah,
can I tell y'all best friends these kids are named after everybody?
they are. But Candy came up with their first names for the most part. I just kind of agree with Caleb. But the funny part about it is, best friends, is after they were here for a few years, we realized we thought of some other names we wanted to name them,
Yeah,
but it was too late.
yeah,
So, but yeah, so Candy thought of their names. I requested, the only thing that I really requested was Kennedy's and Caleb's middle names. They have two, but I requested one of the two.
your dad's, right?
Yeah, my dad's middle name. I wanted Caleb to have his middle name, and then Kennedy has my middle name. So
Yeah, well, yeah, because they have two middle names.
they have two middle names.
So Kennedy's named after my granny, you know, and then Kennedy's also named after Sean, and then Caleb is named after his godfather, and then he's also named after Sean's father.
Right, which
So,
would have been his granddad.
That's why I said, girl, they named after everybody.
They are.
And then Kennedy, I fell in love with the name Kennedy, and this story is so dumb. I fell in love with the name Kennedy because my prom date in high school's name was Kennedy.
And Kennedy knows this. She'll tell you that.
So when I tell the story to people, people be like, "Oh my God, that was your boyfriend? Oh my God, you know you must have really liked him." I didn't even like him. He was so annoying, and nothing happened between us. I think maybe I gave him a hug. We didn't even kiss, right? But his name was Kennedy, and I remember telling him, I was like, "I love your name," and I said, "I'm gonna name my child after you," and he was looking like. Y'all, please don't look him up. His name is Kennedy. Look, his name is Kennedy Millsap.
That is hilarious.
So Kennedy, and he's named after his father. He's Kennedy Jr. And y'all know I'm like 5'3". He was like 5'2", like 5'2" or 5'3". Like, and so we just were really, really cool in high school. We were just good friends in high school. And so we went to prom, and I literally told him that. And so in my mind, as soon as we got pregnant, I was like, okay, well, we know somebody gonna be named Kennedy. I was like, I don't care if it's the girl or the boy. But then I was like, shoot, now we gotta find another name.
Yeah, you gotta think of another name.
But it was after they were born we found better names. But
It's too late.
they were like 1 or 2, and I was like, I still want to change our name.
Nope, too late.
But
Inez said, are they paid to donate their sperm? Yes.
ooh, girl, they make good money.
Yeah. Even women who donate their eggs, and they actually get paid a whole lot more money because the process is so the process is so invasive and so much more involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody who donates, they always get paid for that. Yes, Sharon, twins running Candy's family.
Yes, they're the 9th set. They're the 9th set.
Lamel says, Sean, will you still see the kids every day when you move out? Probably not.
Close to it.
Close to it. I'll be here often because they have activities and games and you know school activities and stuff like that. But I won't be at Candy's house every day. So no, probably not.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, she will definitely see them close to every day because between their sports events, their games, practices, private lessons, might not necessarily be at the house. But yeah, you'll definitely be around.
So, Yaya said, how many tries did you all experience before it happened? Once.
Baby, one time. Our fertility doctor was so amazing. When I say she was so amazing, from the minute we had the consultation, she sat us down and she was like, what's the story? So we told her the story, and she said, okay. She said, well, have you ever been with a man? I said, I said, girl, where's this conversation going? She said, well, what I hear you saying is you tried before, he now has kids and you're unsuccessful. I said,
yep, sure.
She said, for insurance purposes. I said, say less.
Right.
Say less. She said, so what we're going to do is we're going to put you through a battery of tests to make sure that we're not just throwing money away. We want to make sure that if there's an issue, we find and uncover the issue. So it was during that process. Remember, they discovered the polyps. I had polyps. And so she said, well, yeah, girl, if you had a husband, you wasn't getting pregnant because she said these polyps would have blocked everything going to your fallopian tubes. So she said, well, we're just going to do an outpatient procedure. I think she scheduled it for that next month. And she went in, she removed everything. And I literally, yeah, I remember I was home like that night. And so she told me, she said, you know, take 30 days to heal. And then by next month, we should be able to do the first round. Girl, that next month was my birthday month. We did that next round. We scheduled everything right before that trip to Miami. And baby, the rest is history.
Yep.
Yep.
Miss Passionate said, did Sean legally adopt the twins?
You want to go through it?
No, I did not, but my name is on their birth certificates. So I'm their legal parent. Yeah, I'm their legal parent. But we didn't have to go through the whole adoption thing because we were married and we were legally married, and my name is on their birth certificate. Certificates.
So when our attorneys looked at everything during our divorce, because you guys have to remember, we were, I don't know if we were the first, but we were close to the first to do a lot, right? The beautiful thing about this story is that, you know, of course we went through fertility. We weren't the first to do that by far, but the whole divorce and co-parenting and child support, all of that. So the law hadn't caught up with the reality of what was going on. Does that make sense? So we were on the front end of gay marriage. So therefore we ended up being on the front end of gay divorce.
Right. In Illinois.
Yeah. Right? So when we went before the judge, this was during the Trump administration at the very beginning. This was right, yeah, absolutely. Because remember how that judge acted with us? And how you left out of there in tears? Yeah. So he was so nasty towards us to the point where the bailiff came down and followed us out of the courtroom and profusely apologized. But we kept saying when we went to court for our divorce, we kept saying we have worked out everything. We worked out the schedule for the kids. We worked out the financial arrangements. We know who's paying for what. We don't have any issues. Our lawyers don't have any issues. This is all stuff that we did on our own. Everybody is in complete agreement. We just need you to sign off on a divorce, whatever. And he was like, well, no, I'll determine that. So he went through all of our assets. He went through all of our bank accounts. He went through all of our income. And he was like, what did he tell you? He wanted you to pay like $2,000 a month or something?
No, it was like $1,500 or something like that.
I thought it was like 2,000.
It was a decent amount though.
But he was like, we want you to pay like $1,500. Well, you say $1,500. $1,500 a month for child support. We want you to do X, Y, and Z. I was looking at Sean like, nobody's gonna run our, like, this is our situation. But he was very nasty. He was very nasty. But it was right after, you know, Trump had just got elected. And you could tell what side of the fence he was on.
Yeah.
He was very, very, very clear about where he stood. And he tried to send a message. He tried to send a message. He used his power to try to send a message. But yeah. So
Simone said, how did you both decide who has them full time? It really wasn't a decision to be made, Simone. Like, I wouldn't have had it any other way. Like, they're staying with Candy. Like, I didn't even, like, it was never even a thought. Like, we never even came to each other and was like, so who's gonna have it was like an understood thing, if you see what I'm saying. Like, so I don't think it was really a decision to be made. Yaya said, thanks. I have my daughter and daughter-in-law tuning in as well to listen as they are getting ready for this journey. Well, blessings to them.
Congratulations in advance. Congratulations in advance. But yeah, that's why we thought it was so important to have this conversation. We didn't want to just have the fertility part, but we also wanted to talk about the divorce and co-parenting part as well. Because, you know, the fertility part was 10 years ago for us. Yeah. But the divorce and the co-parenting part is what we're sitting in now. Yeah.
Kia said, then why did you have a hysterectomy, or is that in the book? I think you're asking me because I was the one that said I was never medically diagnosed as being infertile. So my hysterectomy was because of other reasons. I was having horrible pain. My menstruals were a nightmare. They would go for 30 plus days sometimes. Like, it was horrible. And it seemed like the older that I was getting, the worse it was getting, to the point where I had to go to the emergency room a few times. Candy's aunt had to come and get me one night and take me to the emergency rooms. I was in so much pain. Like, it was so bad. And so I told my doctor, I cannot. I can't. And so she was like, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. She was like, you've already told me you tried to have children. You guys do have children already. So if that's what you want to do, I feel like it's a good choice. So that was the reason why I had my hysterectomy. Lindetta said, why would Sean need to pay child support if things were amicable? That's the same thing.
That's what we kept saying. That's what we kept saying.
Yeah.
That was never anything that I was interested in. Even to this day, it's not something that I'm interested in or want to revisit legally. Everybody has their own school of thought as it relates to that. Even if I was in a heterosexual relationship and we were going our separate ways, I'm not going to beg you or force your hand to take care of your children. What you bring to the table and what you contribute is what you contribute. We will be okay regardless. And I know for some women that they like, that's foolish. Y'all not together anymore. Make sure you taken care of. But I don't want outside factors inside of private matters. How we govern and move forward together or apart is our business. And so I'm just a firm believer in that. And so for me, I don't have to get the courts involved. Some women do, and that's your right, and that's what you have to do. But that's not my story. It was never my story. I decided to have children with Sean. We made that decision together, and how we move forward with these kids is gonna be together. Mm-hmm. Now, if Sean know that there's lack over here, and these kids need books, they need, sports stuff taken care of, they walking around with holes in their shoes. If Sean know that, and that's our story, and she able to get up and keep it moving and travel to Jamaica, then that's her business. You see what I'm saying? So I just don't believe in twisting nobody's arm and forcing their hand to do anything. I don't believe in that. That's just not me. That's not me. So I would have never taken Sean for child support. Even when I was the angriest at Sean, even when I was the most hurt. That's just not something that I've done. Because, and again, it's no judgment to anybody. But I was very clear on who I was having kids with. Mm-hmm. And I was very clear on the character of the person that I was having children with. And I knew that even if we didn't work out romantically, I had no question that she would show up and do what needed to be done in the best interest of those kids. Which is why, even not together, we able to sit at the table and have a conversation and laugh and reminisce about something. Not that there's warm and fuzzy feelings between the two of us, but because we able to put all the nonsense aside and acknowledge the fact that she's still a damn good mother to these kids.
Thank you.
And I couldn't have handpicked, a better person in that season. So
Sharon said, do you think the judge was nasty because you are black or gay? Both.
Both.
It was both.
Both. He got so he was nasty from the beginning. He was nasty from the beginning, from seeing us and seeing that we had the audacity to come in his Illinois courtroom and be black and gay. But then, best friends, and this is no arrogance, this is no flex, he turned it up when he was looking at them financial statements, mm-hmm. and when he was looking at them assets, and when he was looking at our age at the time. Mm-hmm. And he really turned it up and was looking for, remember, he was trying to give me spousal support. And I'm like, how? Yeah, I'm a business owner.
What? When I tell you that man was trying to make me pay everything under the sun, I said, jeez. So, yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Monica said, how is Sean as a mom?
She's an outstanding mother. To the point where even people who know us, especially when the kids were smaller, a lot of people, not just because Sean is more feminine than I am, but a lot of people just assume, based on the relationship that she has with Kennedy and Caleb, that she carried them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's an outstanding mother.
Sky said, how long have you both been out? You want to answer first or want me to answer first?
Girl, I got pushed out. You can go ahead though.
I have been out since I came out in college. Because I didn't even know I needed to come out until college because that's when I had my first experience and all of that. And then when I made the choice to exclusively date women, I was never quiet about it. I was never. I literally came out at a spoken word event on campus. Like that's how
What you say, girl?
I wrote a poem.
You went up there and grabbed the mic and said, "Is this on?" What you say, girl?
Yeah,
What you say?
you know what? I had that poem somewhere, but anyway, when I wrote a poem, and it was very obvious that I was speaking about being with a woman. When in my relationships with women, I never hid it. I was very open to my sorority sisters. Like I was just never, I never hid it. Once I made that decision, I was like, this is my life. This is what I choose to do. This is who I choose to date, and it is what it is. And so I came out when I was in college. I was about 22, 23, I guess. That's when I came out.
You were already in the sorority, or you was in the process
I was
of
already
becoming?
in the sorority.
Also, girl, they couldn't do nothing anyway. Then
Yeah.
after that, the girl, they just had to grin and bear it. Then
Right.
what they say, girl?
They didn't say anything.
didn't
All
say
of
nothing?
my sources was just like, okay, you still shine, like, okay.
Okay,
So yeah. How long have you been out?
girl. Yesterday, I came out yesterday.
Oh, okay.
No, best friend. I'm telling y'all, I didn't come out. I was pushed out. So my story is a little bit different. The first girl I dated was in high school, and we started talking, and it wasn't supposed to go there. But she was one of them people that she was like, you ain't gonna take this from me, girl. When she found it, she was like, girl, you ain't gonna take this from me. So what she started to do was, I was trying to just talk to her on the side, and then what we had was kind of like on the side. But then she was kind of like the jealous type. So she tried to always go over and beyond to make her presence known when we were in school.
People always want to be seen.
People always want to be seen. You see what I'm saying? So she tried to always make her presence known. And so she would do little stuff like come over to my locker and like we'd be walking to class and she would like grab my hand and do all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, go on. So what happened, best friends, was I didn't put two and two together that, okay, the same people who see you walking down the hall are the same people who go to your church and are the same people who you sing in the youth choir with. And so it's not just a conversation amongst the kids. Now this conversation apparently is spilling over at people's dinner table and stuff. So one day my family comes to me. Granny, Auntie Kylie, Mama, everybody, they done had a private conversation. Now they want to have an intervention. So now they done came to me and they sit me down. And you know how Granny is. She lead with, Candy, we have something we want to talk to you about. Uh-oh. Yes, ma'am. Well, I raised you, young lady, to know and understand that if you're not doing anything that you're embarrassed or ashamed of, you'll be honest. Yes, ma'am. What's been brought to our attention that thus and so has been going on, and such came and said they seen you doing X, Y, and Z. I said, girl, you said if I understand, girl, yeah, girl, you asking me am I messing with, girl, Ben, yeah, Ben. So at this time, best friends, I'm like a senior in high school, so it's floating all around the church. So my little group of best friends or friends that I was with at the church, now people, mama and daddies, are saying, I don't want my daughter around her. I don't want my daughter around her. She's a bad influence, So now people are kind of shunning their kids away from being around me. So now I'm kind of being ostracized. So this was right when I was getting ready to go away to school. So my family was trying to look for every tactic that they could to try to change my mind or get me to stop dealing with women. So girl, they tried everything. They was like, well, we're not going to help you pay for school. Okay. We're not going to give you no money. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. But that was my little out experience. And that's why a lot of my college years, that's the backstory, as to why a lot of my college years were so difficult. That was a part of what led to my homelessness. Because when you don't feel like, inside of your mistakes, when you don't feel like you have a place where you have room to sometimes not make the best choices and have grace with the people who love you most, then you find yourself with this attitude of this aura, it's me against the world.
Yeah.
And I walk through a lot of my life like that, like it's me against the world, like I don't have anybody but me. Y'all ever heard that song, Me, Myself, and I?
Mm-hmm.
That was my motto and how I lived my life until Sean and I got together later in life. And so now that we didn't work, girl, it's back to me, myself, and I. It's all I got in the end. So yeah.
Tanette said, being the mother of a grown child that is a male-centered woman, why is it so hard to come out to people? Can I ask a question?
What's a male centered?
Thank you. I'm a part of the community, but I'm not well versed on all of the terminology and things, and I apologize. And if I sound ignorant, I apologize to that. What is a male-centered woman? Please let us know in the comments, because I don't know what that is, and I think you'd be educating a lot of people so that we are not ignorant when we come across situations like this, and we can be respectful. Because I'm saying that like very seriously.
I cannot answer the question because I want to make sure I understand the question.
Yeah.
I think I know, but I want to make sure I'm seeking clarity.
Yeah. Let's see. Marie said, are you both breaking up? Because I haven't been watching due to doctor appointments. I hate this. I hope you both can work things out. I don't want to see you, Candy, with anyone else. Just looking at you, both seem like you get along good. Is this permanent? It is, Miss Marie. I'm sorry that you've missed out, but we announced our separation in July. And so we are definitely separating. I'll be moving out of the home, all of those things. So it's very permanent. Yeah. Let me see. Sharon said, I have a gay female family member, and the reason she went that way was because of a serious disappointment by a man. Did that happen to either one of you? Nope. Nothing to do with all. I was never abused. I was never, because all those things you hear, oh, that happened because you were, no, nothing like that. Once I had my experience with a woman, I realized I liked that way more than I did with being with men. And it was funny because I can remember even in elementary school, finding myself looking at girls. I guess I just didn't know what it meant, and I had never acted on it. So it was something that was always in me, but I didn't have my experience until college. And then once I did, I was like, oh, this is where I want to be. So yeah.
So what if
Lindella said, why y'all separating? Who cheated? Nobody cheated this time. We have dealt with infidelity. That's in this book. But the reason why we're separating is all in here. Nothing to do with cheating at all. Whatsoever. Nothing. Tanette said a lesbian, but that is how she labels herself on her podcast. So maybe
that's, I'm about to say, that sounds like a stud.
Sounds like a stud, perhaps. Or masculine energy. Okay, so she's just wanting to know, why is it hard for some people to come out?
Because the world is not accepting of us. So I know I'm not talking to any of the best friends here, but we are a very, very, very small percentage of the populace of the world, right? And so, you might be forward thinking, and it might be very hard for you to think, oh my God, people really still give y'all a hard time in real life, and do, because there's a lot of people who think that only a man and a woman belong together in the sight of God, or otherwise, or even in society, for the people that's not Bible thumping, and they feel like only a man and a woman can raise children that will develop and be successful. And so a lot of people don't see outside of the parameters of a traditional box.
Yeah. There's a lot of societal boxes and norms and stuff that people are forced to conform to that I don't jive with. Like,
I mean, even when
life is life, live your life and just be like.
I was looking through the kids' papers. Even when we filling out forms, think about the forms that you fill out.
It says
mother,
father.
Yeah.
And I always have to put a line through father and put what sometimes I put other parent, second mom. Like I have to distinguish because literally, if I don't cross it out and I still put my name, they still assume that I'm a man. Even though my name is Sharnita, they still would assume that I'm a man because it's father and I'm not the father. Like, so yeah, like Candy said, even in the forms and things, I've seen it. Very rarely have I seen it where it says father or parent or guardian. Like it'll like, but for the most part, no, it's mother and father.
Yeah. And so best friends, because it's so widely accepted and it's normal for the world, then it becomes challenging for us. Because there's those days, and I've shared them here with you guys, I've shared them with Sean. There's those days where like around Father's Day last year, you know, when Caleb was playing travel ball and all the dads took the picture with their sons and Caleb was standing there. You know what I mean? And so it's those moments where I have to ask myself, did you make the right choice? You know, it's those quiet conversations that you have with yourself and you're like, did you make the right choice? Right? Like it's one thing for me to live my life how I want to live my life, but to then bring two other people in and push something on them. Then in August, I really sat and I struggled. I struggled, best friends. I struggled. And thereafter, you know, like what did I choose? What did I do? You know? And so you don't, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Yeah.
One of the best friends, Lanisha, said, "Do either of you plan on ever getting married again?" I'm not sure. I'm not counting it out, but that's not like a goal of mine. Like, if I end up, you know, back in love with someone and we make the decision not to ever get married, like I won't be mad. Like, who am I trying to prove anything to? Like, if we know that we love each other and we're going to be with each other, then that's fine with me. So marriage is not a goal of mine.
What you think about me?
You already said that you're gonna be married again. Candy lives, breathes, and is marriage bound. Yes,
I love marriage. I love
and
family.
I'm not opposed to it, but it's just not.
Yeah.
For me.
Now, don't make the mistake of thinking that because I love marriage and I love family that I'm finna go run out and marry anybody. It would have to be the right person and somebody of quality and substance. But absolutely, I'll be married again. I'll likely be married again. Yeah.
Any other questions, best friends? We got caught up.
You got caught up?
We got caught up.
You got caught up.
Any other questions? Y'all always have good questions. I love having conversations with the best friends. Man.
How do you think it's gonna be weird when we have to co-parent and it looks different than this? Like right now, it's a situation where, you know, you don't have anybody that the kids are meeting, you know. So like once there's more people involved, you see what I'm saying? What is that? Right.
I don't think so. In their face anytime soon. Like when I say that it has to be like serious for me and whoever it is, like it has to be like darn serious. So by the time that even comes around, they're going to be older and they're going to understand more and more. I mean, they're already 9 and understanding more and more. So they're going to understand things so easily that they're going to be like, oh, okay, that's Nema's, you know, girlfriend. Like, whatever, you know. So, you know, I don't think it's going to be awkward.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be awkward.
Do you think that's a lot of people?
I don't. I don't.
How much say should your partner or my partner have in things? Reason I ask is, let's say I can't think of any decisions recently that we had to make with the kids, but how much say so should partners have?
I honestly don't think that. I think that the decisions and everything should be left between you and I.
The reason why I asked that question is because I seen that episode of Love and Marriage Counseling,
Mm-hmm.
and Maurice and Kimmy and Kaya, what's her name? Kiowa.
Yeah.
They was sitting down, and Kiowa's husband wasn't present at the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been the four of them,
Mm-hmm.
but they was making decisions about Monster,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have been the four of them. And in my mind, I was like, "Ooh, that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? A board of directors vote?"
So
I didn't know.
I know it's definitely different for different families.
Right.
People do things differently. People have different comfort levels and stuff like that. I don't mind partners giving input, but as far as making decisions, I think the decisions should be left to you and I.
Okay.
So you can tell me what you think and give me whatever, but ultimately the decision's between me and Candy.
So there's no board of directors meeting.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, because they and I maybe that was for the cameras. But,
However, I will say this though.
mm-hmm.
If you're married and you're living with your wife, obviously, and it's about your household, that's different. So if you guys are making household decisions that maybe the kids have to abide by, like rules, regulations, and things like that, that's different.
Okay.
But when it comes to our children and decisions that we want to make for them and their livelihood and their lives, I believe that's between you and I. You see what I'm trying? You see the distinction I'm trying to make?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't come in your household and be like, well, no, those are our kids. So no, that's your household, that's your marriage.
Okay.
But when it comes to our children, and then same for me.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
Now, do you agree or no?
Yeah, that works. I'm thinking through all of what's said. I'm processing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let me see. Kia said, "Have you both?" Oh wait, okay. Sharon said, "You all are amazing, but when Sean permanently moves out, what happens to our lives?" Like you mean the lives here?
A lot of people have been asking those questions.
I don't know because honestly, where I'm moving to, the connection sucks, and I don't want to always have to be fighting with having a good connection and stuff like that. And you know, Candy's gonna be living her life. I'm gonna be living mine. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. What I could do, it depends on what the topic is, right? I don't know. I mean, well, I could always bring you on, even. I mean, but I don't know.
Kia said, "Have both of you prepared the twins for when you move out?" I think that we've prepared them as much as we can until the day comes. They are aware that I'm moving out. They know I'm leaving. They've even asked me like, "How many more months do we have?" You know, so. But you can never fully prepare them to be like, "This is how it's gonna feel," and I know it's gonna be hard. You know, when that day does come, it's gonna be hard for me. I know it's gonna be hard for them, so it's gonna be hard. But we've tried to prepare them as much as possible, and we always leave the lines of communication open for them. Do you have questions? How are you feeling? You know, whatever. So,
I think, you know, of course, we haven't spoken about it, but I think the day that it has to happen, where you have to physically carry your stuff out, I think that should be best done while they're at school.
yeah, I agree. I wouldn't do it in front of them.
Because that's
It's too much.
that's a lot in itself.
Yeah, that's too much. Yeah, I wouldn't do that in front of them.
But yeah.
Deborah said, "What do they call you both?" Why do we always do that? They call me Mima, and they call her Mommy or Mom. I came up with Mima, and I didn't realize it until after they got here that that's what some people call their grandmother. So sometimes when we're in public, they're like, "Oh, is your grandmother?" No. But what I did was I took Mommy and turned it around. I made it backwards. So Mommy, me, Mom. Like, you see what I did? Like, I flipped it backwards. So that was my rationale behind it. But I didn't realize that people call their grandmother that. So go figure. But that was my thing.
They call us Candace and Shanita. No, I'm just playing.
Marie said, "Have you guys seeked counseling?" Separately, yes, but not together. We did that years ago.
We did together years ago.
Yeah, we
but
together.
now separate.
Let me see. Hold on, I lost my spot. Here we go. Um, totally agree. I agree with Sean. Oh, they were talking about how what I said about the decision making. That makes so much sense, Sean.
Okay.
Tanisha said, glad to hear Sean standing 10 toes down. You go, girl. Everything at all. And everything at all. What you mean, Tanisha? You're so funny. Velda said, who are the twins living with now? They're living, well, I'm still living with Candy right now, but once I move out, then of course they're going to stay here with Candy.
Marie sound like my granny, girl. She said, who gonna cook for them kids, girl? Because Candy ain't gonna get it, girl.
Candy is, we going to get her up to speed.
Listen, it's cuffing season, y'all. Y'all see that meme? I'm gonna do something with that meme. I might make it a reel. But they say September is cuffing season. So it's about to get cold outside. I gotta find me a beautiful woman who know how to cook and love to cook. These are just jokes, best friends. These are just jokes.
Velma says, so you guys are going to share custody. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're gonna work it out. Whatever makes sense for us. Yeah, whatever makes sense for us. So, but yeah. Oh, Ruthie, it's okay. She said, this makes me sad. It's fine.
Jessica said, Candy, get your crock pots ready, girl.
She has one. I'm gonna show her how to use it. We have one, and I'm gonna show her how to use it. She gonna fall in love with it. That's that thing that I be making that honey bourbon chicken in and stuff like that. She gonna fall in love with it. When she realizes all she gotta do is throw the stuff in there and turn it on and walk away, and then it's come back and it's done, she gonna be like, oh yeah, do this every day.
Yeah. Best friend said, will you have room for the kids at your new place? Yes. Sean will. She will.
And she said, have you had counseling with the kids? Yes, we have. Oh, Tanae said it's gonna be emotional for us when Sean physically leaves.
Girl, y'all gonna be
I'm
sending
gonna go
up.
live and I'm about to send y'all through a thing. The kids gonna be at school and I'm gonna go live and y'all gonna just tear this internet to pieces. I'm gonna tell you, Candy, hold this camera and film me as I walk down the stairs and put my stuff in the car.
Girl, all y'all gonna hear is me breathing in the phone. Y'all know I got asthma, so if I gotta keep walking up and down these stairs, will she carry a box and go be?
I'm gonna be like, stand in the driveway and let me get in the car and let me walk and let me drive away and wave out the window.
I'm gonna be sounding like Precious in the phone, girl. Be.
Let me see. All right. That's it. That's all the questions.
So you think that's gonna be a hard day?
It's gonna be a difficult day. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult.
Ooh.
It's gonna be okay.
I don't know.
It's gonna be okay. So I think that, like you said, the best thing for me to do is to do it while they're away at school or not at the house or whatever. And then perhaps me come back that day and just be able to have a conversation with them, because the first thing they're gonna do is run into my room and they're gonna see all my stuff gone, and I don't want to leave you with that. So I would rather do it and then maybe come back and maybe take them to dinner or something like that. You know what I mean? Like to.
I'm laughing at best friend on IG. She said, while playing It's So Hard to Say Goodbye in the background.
Exactly. Girl, it's going to be a thing. It's going to be 10 million views.
I'm going to be like, Lord. And then they're going to be inboxing me all this crazy stuff. All these scriptures. Give it another chance, Candy. Don't give up on love, Candy. Don't do it, Candy. You so disrespectful, Candy.
Vic, that's the reason why I said what I just said. She said, I think it's gonna hurt if they see you gone and said nothing. And that's why I said I wouldn't just do it and then just be like, I'm gonna call you before you go to bed. No, I really feel like it's a situation where I should do it, get my stuff out, and then come back, because again, I don't want to leave that on Candy. Like, I don't want to drop that on her lap and be like, well, hope you have a good night. Like, I don't want to do that.
Well, so, I mean, in fairness, I think just kind of similar to, and not to draw the comparison, but kind of similar to when Jordan left, right? Kind of similar to when we transitioned the dog out. When we made all these decisions and we made adjustments or changes in their lives, we were very forthcoming with them and we had those conversations. So for me, I think it would be very appropriate for us to have those conversations leading up to it to say, hey, we only got about 2 more weeks left, or we only got about, whatever. So, like, remember when I used to travel for work, and they would say, "Mommy, how many sleeps do we have?
Yeah.
How many sleeps do we have, Mommy, before you come home? So how many more sleeps do we have?" And not to say you counting down and it becomes a stressful thing, but also, just from a perspective of a 9-year-old, well, by then they'll be 10, but from the perspective of a small child, if it was only a few weeks left, I would want to know that. Versus me going to school one day, coming home, that's still being blindsided. So, I don't know.
Vilda said, "Are you moving to another state or are you just moving out?" I'm just moving out. I'm not moving to another state.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you guys consider a poly relationship and stay in the same house? No poly relationship for us. We've tried something similar.
Right.
We've tried something similar. But the issues that we have, you can't compound more, you can't add more complexity to an already difficult situation that's not working.
Right, because the thing is, we don't want to be with each other. It would be different if we still wanted to be with one another, but somebody was interested in somebody else, and you wanted to bring them in. We don't want to be with each other, so you can't be in a poly relationship if you don't want to be in a relationship with the person. So you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't make sense. So
Yeah. So I mean, the relationship has run its course. So that's not, and it's not fair to us as individuals. It's not fair to the unit, right, of what we once had, and it's definitely not fair to an outside, non-biased person. I don't know how coming into all of this mess will be beneficial to anybody's life. It's just good to just separate, deal with all the hurt and pain, and just heal and then move forward.
Velda said, "Have you introduced your kids to your new girlfriend?"
Who's new girlfriend? Who's new girlfriend, best friend? Who's new girlfriend? Why Sean sitting over here looking like a little pound puppy? Sean, y'all be thinking Sean be sad. Sean don't be sad. Sean be quiet. Sean be like, y'all know that part of Color Purple?
When Celia's sitting in that rocking chair in the kitchen, when Mr. trying to light that stove.
No, not then. When
Sugar had that food.
When she throw that food against the wall, and she just trying to see what color the wall gonna be. See, y'all be looking at that little pound puppy look that Sean had on her face. Y'all be thinking that Sean is sad. Sean just be trying to see what's gonna happen next.
Jessica said, "So Sean, you're over Candy, or you just know you just know you don't want to be with her anymore? I never got that from you yet." Oh, you want a direct answer? I'm not completely over Candy yet. No, I'm not. But I just know the relationship is over.
Best friend said that was my wife asking that question.
Why, y'all trying to bring us into a relationship?
No, not that person. The other person said that was my wife that asked that question, meaning that was my wife. I don't think about the poly question. But that was my wife that asked the question, like, why don't y'all
I thought she was talking about the lady that asked about the poly question. I thought they was like watching together. That's what I thought.
Oh, maybe. Wait a minute now.
That's what I was asking.
Hold on. Wait a minute now. What's going on over here? What's going on?
I'm asking if that's her wife above her. Like,
who? Look. Who?
What's your profile?
Right. You know what? Somebody told me. Somebody said that inbox finna light up.
Who, yours?
Something.
Sure.
Somebody told me. Somebody said that inbox is finna light up.
Oh, I'm sure. Like
when they know, when people start finding out that you out here talking to folks, I was like, no, it's the opposite. It would be the opposite, don't you think?
What?
It'd be the opposite.
What you mean?
If they know that you talking to somebody, wouldn't it be the opposite?
What, that won't be in your inbox?
Yeah.
Come on, Candy, you know the answer to that question. Are you kidding me?
Don't nobody be in that inbox. No, start with me tonight. Don't nobody be in that inbox, Sean. Why you saying this on this video? Don't nobody.
Monica said the twins may act out when Sean move out. I hope not. That's one thing that our kids have never acted out in the midst of everything that they've endured. They've never acted out, so I'm hoping that they'll be okay, and I don't think so. See,
She said.
That's another question.
She said, but they're not poly.
Oh, okay. She said I don't play that. Oh,
I know
okay.
that's right. I know that's right.
It's not big of a deal.
So you said you don't think the kids will act out?
I don't think they will. I'm hoping that.
You petty. You play too much.
Kia said, I admire both of you ladies for handling this situation with the maturity that you are with, putting the kids first and still being respectful to one another. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mary said, when Sean leaves, how would you function, Candy, with the kids and going live? Put them to bed and go live just like she did here.
Mm-hmm. See, best friends, the kids are self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. Y'all gotta understand, we raise soldiers. These kids,
I love her.
These kids are self-sufficient. So with that being said, like, you know, we have them very structured and on a routine. As soon as they come in from school, we sit down, we do homework. On Mondays and Thursdays, Sean is in Chicago because she's her grandmother's caretaker. So I'm here. The kids know, you know, we do that. We work on their sports stuff. If they got to go to practice or private lessons, we do that. They eat. The only thing I'm going to struggle with is the whole eating thing. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. The cooking thing. That's it. But everything else, getting them to bed, doing laundry, you know, taking care of them, everything else. I do everything else.
He handles this house hands down with no problem when I'm not present.
I just don't cook. Like literally,
right. That's what it is. I think what you guys had grown accustomed to is that we had a kind of routine or something that worked for us when we were in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So it seemed like Candy didn't do this or didn't know how to do it. She knows how to do everything. She handles these kids like no other. I have no qualms about Candy not being okay. Only thing I'm worried about is me. Okay?
Yeah. It's
outside of that, Candy runs this house meticulously, whether I'm here or not. But when you're in a relationship, you guys decide what works best for your relationship. You do this, I do that. You do this, I do that. And then you just get into a routine and it runs smoothly for your family. It's not that each person doesn't know how to do the other things. You just figure out what works best for your relationship and what works best for, you know, what's going to make the house run smoothly. We always used to say we had a well-oiled machine. Like things moved like clockwork in here because everybody knew what they were supposed to do and how we did it. But it doesn't mean that I don't know how to do what Candy knows how to do and vice versa.
Best friend said, can Candy wash clothes?
Absolutely. Candy been washing clothes for the last 4 days.
So best friend, I wash everybody's clothes and do everybody's laundry and iron.
Except
Sean is the only person who do her own laundry. But ever since these kids were born, every single week I was doing 4 or 5 loads yesterday alone. Literally before we went live, I was putting clothes away. That's what I've been doing for a little part of this evening. So it's very interesting because when you guys see us live, we're sitting here talking or we're in the kitchen and you see Sean cooking in the kitchen. But literally you have to get it in your head. The only thing that I don't do is cook. Everything else I do. I pay the bills. I handle the budget. I do this. I do that. Literally 100% of everything else, I do it. Mm-hmm. I do it. I just don't scramble meat. Mm-hmm. Like I don't. What they do? I don't saute meat. I don't scramble eggs. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You know. But hell, if I make enough money, I'll hire somebody with a short skirt on and a cute smile to come in here and do that. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll hire somebody to come in here and cook. If I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't that deep for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It ain't that deep for me. I had a conversation with my cousin and she said the same thing. She was like, girl, what you gonna do? She was like, I got kids and I just couldn't imagine what we would do if I couldn't cook. And I told her, I said, but you look at the problem from one perspective and I look at the problem from another perspective. You look at it as, I need to develop a new skill set. I need to figure out how to cook. I look at it as, what problem can I solve for other people to generate enough revenue to solve that problem for me? You see what I'm saying? What can I create? What can I put in the atmosphere that's gonna call enough money to me every month where I could pay somebody to solve that problem? I never had a desire to cook. I was having a conversation with one of my friends earlier. She was like, well, if you like men, why weren't you ever with a man or married to a man? Because at some point he's gonna be expecting me to cook and I'm gonna be looking for somebody else to cook.
And y'all gonna both be sitting at the table waiting for the food to come to the
You see
table.
what I'm saying? He looking for the short skirt and the lingerie, and I'm looking for her ass too. So we both sitting here looking and hungry. You see what I'm saying? So for me, that's literally it. Best friends, like I do everything. I just don't cook. I make majority of the decisions.
They said best friends are saying I need to meal prep and just cook the food for the week and put it in the refrigerator.
But how far is that gonna go?
Right.
That's only gonna go so far, and y'all gotta know I'm forward thinking. That's only gonna go so far because the minute Sean start talking to somebody, shorty, whoever she is, gonna pull the puppet strings and say, and then that's only gonna go so far. If I start talking to somebody and Sean gonna be like, girl, what I look like coming over to the club? Right? It's not gonna go far. The lesson that we gotta learn in this season is there's not just codependency on one side. And I think that's what annoyed me about people. They see codependency on one side. There's codependency on both sides. We relied on each other for things. Sean don't make decisions. She don't make any decisions. She got so used to me navigating and leading and guiding and providing and protecting. So she's got another set of skills she got to learn.
Or relearn, because I did it before.
Exactly.
Before we started dating, I lived by myself. I did everything by myself. But once you get into a position where you allow your partner to lead and you relinquish that and you submit to your partner, those skills, just like any other skill, they get weak. Because you're like, well, I don't have to. Like, you got it. You know what I'm saying? But now I have to re-engage those skills. It's just like a muscle. I have to start practicing and re-engaging those skills and figuring it out. So, yeah.
But it's one of those situations where, we both, like you said, we both kind of got comfortable inside of this dynamic because we've been sitting in it for half of our lives.
And it works.
Right? So for me, I come from a family of women who cook impeccably, right? But I got ready to go away to college, and when I was younger, they were like, okay, come in the kitchen. I wasn't interested. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I'll get those skills when I'm a little older. And I never had a desire to develop them. But then by the time I went away to college, I never really came back. And so then in college, I always dated women who cook. The girlfriend that I live with, and wrote about in book 1, she cooked. And then when I was single, people cook. You see what I'm saying? And then when Sean and I got together, Sean cooked. So it was just never something that I ever had to worry about. She solved that problem for me in exchange for me solving certain problems for her. But y'all got to understand, no relationship remains that's not mutually beneficial.
Right.
You would never stay in something that's not mutually beneficial. Yeah.
Auntie P said, not shorty. Candy uses that word. It drives me up the wall. She calls me that sometimes, and I be like, it's like nails on a chalkboard, but I just let it ride.
Yeah, I'm a control freak. Duh. We done had this problem before. I talk the most. That's why y'all here. What we talking about? I talk the most, and yeah, I was a control freak. People be acting like they be scared to speak their truth. Like I don't want, I got something to say, but I ain't trying to do it with you today. We could, hey, where we at with it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jessica said, at least you know, Candy.
Sometimes I say things that are highly inappropriate. You want some examples?
Girl, the best friends in the hallway.
Y'all want some examples? What's some of the things? What's some of the things that we done dealt with? Sean would be like when we was together. Like you'd be like, I feel like, and blah 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 blah. Like let's role play. Let's show them how.
Like what?
When you be like, I'm trying to think of some of the conversations we've had.
Oh girl, that would be so many. I don't know.
You'd be like, this happened, and I feel like you should have seen my perspective, and this, that, and the third. Like, okay, like this. Role play something like that.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
I'm not. No, you're not gonna pull me into that. Gloria said my ex and I are better at being friends. She and her friend come cook at my house, and I go cook at their house. We all are good friends now. Oh, that's what's up.
Wait, hold on. She said, wait, it's a whole lot of friends involved. Go back to what Miss Gloria said. Let's unpack, Miss Gloria.
So Miss Gloria said, "Oh God, my eye. I'm sorry." She said,
Girl, pull them glasses down.
My
You wearing them
ex-
like they sunglasses.
"Cause my eyes, like I got something going on."
You okay?
Yeah. Gloria said my ex and I are better at being friends. She said she and her friend.
So so
So
let's
Gloria,
unpack.
are you saying friend like friend, or you saying friend like girlfriend? Like,
Girl,
'cause
Gloria.
people be wanting to use these words all loosely and whatnot. Is this your girl or is this a friend? Like for real, for real?
Gloria said her girl.
Because her and her friend come and cook at. She's saying her ex and her friend comes to her house and cook, and they're all friends. So your ex-girlfriend has a girlfriend now, and they come to your house, and y'all all be sitting around cooking and eating. Is that what you're saying?
So how many people was involved? 3?
3.
Why don't everybody get together and stay together? Cause it seems.
Because maybe they don't want to be a part of that shit. You just told them that you don't believe in part of that shit.
I said I don't believe in them, or I said I don't want one.
You said you don't want one.
Or I said it. No, that's not what I said. What I said was it's not good for us. It's not good for us. But I'm no longer open to that.
That's what I just said. You don't want it.
Yeah, I'm no longer open to that.
Sky said, "How do you know Sean at that time Candy was going to?" So are you asking me how at the time? How did I know that Candy was going to be my wife, or are you asking Candy how did she know that I was going to be her wife? I think the wording got me jacked up. Jessica said, "Listen, they all friends." Sounds like Polly. I know that's what I was saying. That's what Candy said. Yes. I don't know which one you mean, Sky. Lady B said, "All my notes in my book, I wrote notes, Candy and her control." Did you?
Girl, y'all be telling me
Oh my
something.
God.
Y'all be trying to tread lightly. Y'all be telling me something like y'all think it's like news, like it's breaking news to me. Girl, my mama said she looked at me on March 21st, 1983 at 10:21 p.m. and said, "Girl, you are so controlling." You tried to control the temple of the day. When I was born on my grandparents' wedding anniversary and crashed the party. She said, "Girl, you are so controlling." Girl, I came in this world like that. What you want me to do?
Hilarious.
What y'all want me to do?
All right. Let's see. Welcome, Thea. You are now a part of the family, honey. Thank you so much for following.
Yes.
So welcome. You are now our best friend. Brandy said, "My family is different than most. If you marry with kids, you still family. you're still family. It'd be ex-husbands and wives at all the family functions with the new spouses and all with no drama. You know what? Some families do function like that. Like on my dad's side of the family, my cousin's ex-wife comes around the family now with her new husband, and it's perfectly fine. Like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Other family members have done the same thing. So yeah, some families can function like that. But I think it just really depends on the people, and it depends on the connection, and everything like that.
And I think perhaps we might be able to get to that point, especially for the sake of the kids, but it has to be in time, right? Because a lot of people was like, well, why didn't you take Sean to the wedding? Because it wasn't enough time that's elapsed. And Sean, if that was the case, would probably need to be in a relationship or something, like where they go and we go. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, even for family functions and stuff, for you to start coming back around the family, I think it should be, those sort of situations where we both are in.
So I gotta be in a relationship before I can come around your family again?
It look better. Like,
what if I never date again? So I'm never gonna be able to come around your family?
so then what are we doing here?
What do you mean?
Then what does that look like? I just think
You be there with your chick and I'm just there. It ain't like we riding in the car together.
I understand, but I think it was too soon, right? I think maybe in years down the line in the future, but I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let me see.
Best friend.
Question. Where'd it go? Oh yeah. So Sky says, Candy, how did you know Sean was going to be your wife? Yeah.
How did I know Sean was gonna be my wife? I feel like I didn't intentionally do it, but I was young. I was in my 20s. I feel like I knew that I loved Sean, and I knew that the love was different than all of my other relationships. But I also, again, I didn't intentionally do it, but I tested Sean. And I wanted to see if our love could withstand the test of not just the season that we were in, but anything that could possibly happen. So for me, like, at that point, it was important for me to see Sean in all seasons, which is what I tell people to do. Don't just marry somebody because you guys have warm and fuzzy feelings, Like, is this a person who is there for you when you sick? Can this be somebody who's there for you when you are in lack, not just in abundance, etc.? And so I looked over the course of our relationship. At that point, it had been about 4 years. Mm-hmm. It had been about 4 years. And I looked over the course of our relationship and I realized that without me trying to, Sean had passed every imaginable test. And she was loyal, she was faithful, she was loving, she was beautiful, she was easy to talk to, she was very smart. All of the things that I wanted, she met all of those things, and in some categories exceeded some of those things. And so I did some soul searching, and I realized, I'm not gonna say what the event was. I'll tell you. But I realized through a situation that we went through that this was the person for me. This was, you know how they say this was your person, that this was my person. I thought we were gonna be together forever, but of course God had other plans. He had other plans. But yeah, I knew that where I was going, this is where God had placed me. And there was no doubt in my mind. So yeah. So I contacted Sean's family, and I asked her family members for her hand in marriage. I went to Chicago, drove to Chicago, and I asked them in person. Because at the time we were living about 2.5, almost 3 hours south of Chicago. And so I drove up to the city and I asked them, and they gave me their blessing. And then I went to one of our friends who happens to be our sorority sister, but she's now Kennedy and Caleb's godmother. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, this is where we are, and this is what I'm planning on doing, and I need or want your help with picking out the ring and helping me, with the planning. I said, because I really want to do this for her and I really want it to be special. And so we went and we did everything. She was like, girl, how much money you got? What you trying to do? And I was like, I really want to, I want to put a little statement piece on her finger. And so, we went shopping and stuff, and then it just went from there. But at no point in time was there any doubt. There was never doubt. There was never doubt. So,
Jessica said, Sean, did you want to go to the wedding? I did, because I know her cousin. I love her cousin. He's amazing. His wife now is amazing. But I knew that once we broke up, like I pretty much knew that wasn't going to be the case anymore. But I would have liked to go.
Me and Caleb seen him at the gas station yesterday, right after Caleb's practice, and I had called Sean and they talked. So they had an opportunity to talk yesterday. So she talked to him.
Yeah. Jessica said, how long did you guys date for real, not best friends, but date before marriage? We dated for 4 years.
4 years.
No, 5 years. Well, 4 years before she proposed, and 5 years before, and then we got married a year later. So we were dating for 5 years before we got married.
Mm-hmm. So the couple years of best friendship was like what, 2 extra years.
Mm-hmm.
So that was beforehand. Why do y'all think we can't move on?
Girl, so many people think that. I mean, we're just gonna have to let time pass, and they're gonna realize that we are, and then they're gonna see us years from now. We ain't gonna be doing nothing with each other, and it'll be okay. Best friends just need time. It's okay.
But I guess when you revisit 3 times, but
right,
y'all gonna learn today.
Velda said, "Who's older?" I'm older. Oh, two best friends answered that already. So Velda, you are a person who, because she said there should never be a divorce. So you have that idea, and you're entitled to your thoughts and your beliefs, because there are some people that believe that once you get married, like no matter what, you're supposed to be together. I don't subscribe to that, because I feel like people change, things change. I'm not saying that for our case. Sometimes people make mistakes. All types of things. You know what I mean? Like when I say mistake, I mean like mistakenly marry the wrong person. Like all types of things. There's a ton of different reasons. That wasn't our case, but I'm just saying. So I don't subscribe to the idea that once you're married, you're supposed to just endure anything and everything. Like, there's so many situations. There's abuse. There's addiction. There's just flat out incompatibility. There's a ton of reasons why I wouldn't tell somebody, oh, you're married, so you're supposed to stay together just because you got married. No, because that's like forcing people to stay in unhealthy relationships. Why would you want somebody to do that? That's forcing somebody to stay in a toxic situation. That's forcing people to do all these types of things. So, again, I know that there are some people who do subscribe to that, and that's fine. You're definitely entitled to your beliefs. I'm not trying to change your thoughts, but at the same token, I don't subscribe to that.
So I know one of the best friends said, Candy, you over Sean. That's not true. That's not true. I think I don't want you guys to misunderstand what I'm saying. I think what I've been trying to do is create clear, defined boundaries. Now that Sean and I are not together anymore, does it hurt or hinder her healing process to continue to be around my family? You've all been to weddings just like I have. There's love in the air. Everybody is playing these love songs. It's very reminiscent of a time that we once shared. Everybody is excited for the couple, and you got all these couples in the audience that's having a good time, and everybody's celebrating and all of that. If it's difficult for people on social media who have never physically met us to accept the fact that we're no longer together, how do you think my family members feel? My grandmother, who's 82, and they've only really known Sean. My aunt, who has issues with change. My mom, my cousins who don't see me on a regular basis. Kennedy and Caleb seeing us and watching us get dressed to go to this wedding. Sean, how does that impact these people's healing process? Because everybody's got a healing process. I have one, Sean has one, family members have one, people. And what message is that sending? So we then posting social media pictures and all this other stuff. And I think so many times this is the difference between masculine energy and feminine energy. And oftentimes when masculine energy make clear, defined, definitive decisions, and feminine energy, women get caught up in I feel, I think, I want. And it's not that we don't want the same thing or don't want that for you, but sometimes those hard, strong boundaries have to be created. And it's not to be a jerk, it's not to be an asshole, it's not to be mean, and it's not to imply that I don't care. But we can't stay in a place that don't serve us anymore. If we've made a decision that the relationship is no longer, then we have to move different. And we have to cut the cord and we have to separate. And it is going to look hard. And it is going to look cruel to people who don't understand the journey. But Sean cannot make room for healing. She said on yesterday's video, somebody said, are you over Candy? She said, I'm about halfway there. How you think she got to halfway there? Was it me puppet master and stringing her along playing with her? Because if I did that, y'all be complaining about that. What do I look like taking her to the wedding this weekend and then going to the Fantasia concert Saturday with somebody else? What do that look like? Who's benefiting from that? Now that's bogus, that's disrespectful, that's hurtful, that's inconsiderate, and it's not being clear and clearly creating boundaries. That's not cool. That's not cool. I know y'all used to seeing people playing with folks and whatever. You got one foot in, one foot out. That's how people get hurt. That's how people get hurt. And if I could be honest, that's how a lot of women get misled, bamboozled, lied to, and all of that. It's because people are telling you out of their mouth what it is, what they want, what they don't want, how they don't want to move, and you keep wanting to force stuff on people. You gotta stop. We gotta stop. Ladies, we gotta stop.
You gotta say what you mean and mean what you say.
You gotta say what you mean and mean what you say.
Make sure your actions align to it.
And this is a conversation I had to have with my family members. I had cousins from out of town. They're like, we miss Sean. We want to see Sean too. I understand that. But we've made some choices, right? Privately, we both made some choices. So now publicly, we're sitting in the choices that we made. And we were very clear on how we were moving. So whether it hurt, whether it's uncomfortable, whether it caused me anxiety, whether I feel away because I don't know how to cook, whether Sean's nervous about having to restart her life in different ways, it's uncomfortable for everybody. All of us, me included. But that don't mean you backpedal and pussy pop, like they say on the internet. You see what I'm saying? We got to do better. So what Sean and I are doing publicly and privately is we not just sitting counting the days. Every single day, especially when we not live, Sean is showing me something. I'm showing her something. We're sharpening each other's tools so that when she do leave, it's easier for her. And when she do leave, it's easier for me and Kennedy and Caleb. That's how you win. We don't want the businesses interrupted. We don't want them interrupted. We don't want our lives interrupted as much as possible. We want this to be seamless. But this is what it requires. But I take a lot of flack, y'all, a lot of backlash from a lot of people like, Candy just so cold. She don't care. She moving, whatever. But it's a difference between I feel and I have to do, or I decided. That's why I told y'all it's a different conversation between how somebody feel and what has to happen and what they have to do. We got to stick with the facts. I don't know.
Janetta said, Sean, do you have a social media presence?
That's because they over me.
Not separately. No, I don't. Will I have one in the future? Possibly. But right now, since we still have businesses together and stuff like that, I wouldn't establish a whole nother social media right now anyway, because that would just be too much, and then I would be trying to handle too much and navigate too much, and then it'll be pulling away from what we have going on and things like that, because at the end of the day we still have businesses together, you know what I mean? So then if I start pouring my energy into something else, and that's going to take away from what we already have going on, which interrupts revenue, which interrupts taking care of our children. You see what I'm saying? So it would just be too much. Now, will I have a separate one in the future? Possibly, especially once I start going down the path of doing some of the things that I said that I want to do. But right now, no. So if you're looking for me outside of Candy, you'll see me live on Sincerity Johnson. And I tell you guys all the time, because I have to also understand that because I'm a co-owner with Candy, I can't just take over Sincerity Johnson and just start doing all this irrelevant content that has nothing to do with the business. That's our business page. Do I answer questions over there sometimes? Sometimes I do, but at the end of the day, that's still our business page, and it has to be for our business. So if you're looking for a space for me to just do whatever, I don't have that right now, and I probably won't for some time if it comes about at all. So, hey Monique, she said I'm new to y'all page. Welcome, love.
Come on, Buffalo. Hey, Buffalo. She said she in Buffalo, New York.
Let me see. I lost my spot. I hate when it does that. Hold on one second, best friend. I'm trying to get back to my spot that I found. Okay. Right, Jessica. That's exactly it. She said it'll look like mixed messages when you put it that way. Exactly.
It is, and that's not cool. That's not cool. That's not cool. That's causing more sorrowful nights for her. That's causing her to have hope. You see what I'm saying? That's causing my family to feel away. There's so many different levels to things. When we make a decision, best friends, we have to consider how those decisions impact everybody. The kids, Sean, family members, friends. What does it look like to the public? Exactly. So it's a lot. It's a lot to consider.
So I want to address this one. Vic said, I think it was disrespectful for you to go on a date and Sean watching the kids while you go and have fun. That's not right, but I still understand you wanted to be happy. So I'm going to address that. You have to understand, there's going to come a point in time where I'm out on a date and Candy has the kids. What are we supposed to do? So we're not supposed to date and we're not supposed to move on and live our lives? Candy was not on a date. She was at her cousin's wedding and she took her friend with her. She said that she's not in a relationship right now. So I don't see a wedding as a date anyway. I want to take you on a date. You want to go to my cousin's wedding? Like, nobody takes somebody to a wedding as a date. Like, that's not a date. So that's the first thing. And then second of all, when I have the children, Candy can do whatever it is that she wants to do. If she want to go and take a swim in the beach, she can do whatever. It's her time. Just like when Candy has the kids, it's my time. I can do whatever I want to do. So I don't agree with that. I don't think it's disrespectful. And again, once we get to a point where we are dating other people, what are we supposed to do? We supposed to get another babysitter and pay somebody else to watch our kids because we're on a date with somebody else? Or should the other parent just be with their children and spend time with their kids while the other parent is doing what they want to do with their own free time?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So sometimes we have to get out of our feelings and we have to look at the facts of the situation and look at the reality of the situation. When I have Kennedy and Caleb, that's Candy's time. She can do whatever it is she want to do with it. When Candy has Kennedy and Caleb, that's my time, and I can do whatever it is I want to do with it. If I want to just lay in bed and sleep all day, it's my time. That's what I choose to do because she has the kids. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't agree. It wasn't disrespectful. If she wanted to take somebody to her family's wedding, to her cousin's wedding, she could have took anybody she wanted to. Well, I think you guys just see it disrespectful because you know the history of who this young woman was or is. But it's not. I mean, she can take whoever she wants to take.
And I will add this too. I know on another video, a best friend made a good point. She said, Candy is just showing us more of her journey than Sean is. But that's not to assume that Sean might not have a friend or be talking to somebody or meeting somebody or whatever. Sean may not show you as much. I'm not suggesting that she is or she isn't. It's none of our business until she makes it our business. But it's one of those situations where there's always multiple sides of the story. And like I told you guys a long time ago, you're getting about 80% of the journey, but there's always going to be another 20%. There's always going to be another 20% that you don't get. And you also have to know and understand, very similar to typically we're all here on the week, through the week, and then on the weekend, either Sean will go somewhere, I'll go somewhere, or we'll have days through the week where Sean's not here, I'm here, etc. Right? So if I'm doing something fun, I document that. When I was up until 4 o'clock this morning and I was doing laundry and I was straightening up the house and I was working on stuff for the business, I'm not going to post reels about that or document that because it's boring. Mm-hmm. But when I go to see Fantasia Saturday, you might see a reel or 2 or 3 or 10 from it because that's fun. That's what people like to see. But it's not to confuse the journey. It's not to say, well, Candy's always doing this and she's always having fun and Sean's not. It's just, I just show you more.
And you have to understand, this is Candy's page. So just like when I went out for my mom's birthday, I had footage. Where was I going to put it? I don't have a place to put it. I guess I could have put it on my personal page, but I don't really do anything with my personal page. So it's not that I'm just sitting around doing absolutely nothing. But this is Candy's page. What it looked like me coming on here and putting my reels and my stuff on her page. It's her page. So of course that's what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. If I had a page that I could do stuff like that on, or wanted to do stuff like that on, then I would. Like I said, I could theoretically, I guess I could do it on my personal page, but I really just don't even do nothing on my personal page. And I'm not going to put it on the Sincerity Johnson page because it's not related to the business. It don't make sense. Why would I have pictures of me dancing in the club with my mama on her birthday on the Sincerity Johnson page? Like, so.
Yeah, I think, and I understand. I definitely understand where everybody's coming from, but I think, and then again, kind of going back to what I said, Sean could put her reels or whatever she wants over here on this page, but then where does the separation ever happen? Mm-hmm. If we said we're going our separate ways and we keep getting back into this entanglement, mm-hmm. then how does the separation ever truly occur?
Mm-hmm. So this is her life. Yeah. You're going to see her life over here. If you want to see my life, then you're going to have to wait until I have a page of my own where I do stuff like that on.
Best friend said, what happened to the page that you had when we broke up the last time? You had a page?
My personal page.
Oh, she just...
That's my personal page. But it's funny because the pages that you're thinking of, these are both still the same pages. We just renamed them. Like this page that we're on right now used to be the Candy and Sean page. Mm-hmm. It's not no more. The Sincerity Johnson page used to be... What page was that?
Your page.
That was my page?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my... So, you know what I'm saying? So we're still using the same pages. We just renamed them.
Mm-hmm.
So we reassigned the purpose because we were moving in different directions. Mm-hmm. Jeanette said, so can Sean not have a relationship with your family because y'all are not together? My family is just like Sean's. You're still family regardless of what happened to my relationship. I think you kind of answered it already. She said that, yes, I can, but time has to pass. Like everybody has to heal. Everybody has to get used to me of us not being together. Once everybody's in a better spot, then perhaps that'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I think that's healthy for the kids too, right? Now, even now, Sean is still going to see my family even now. Caleb has a game Saturday morning. If the family is there at the game Saturday, well, actually, Caleb got a game tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Caleb got a game tomorrow, so chances are my family will probably come to the game. Sean's going to be at the game. So there's going to be instances where they still see Sean. And I'm not like, oh, well, y'all sit over here, she sit over here. No, everybody still talk and mingle like they normally would. But to go out of your way to say, hey, I'm going to Granny house, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, I just don't think now is the time. It's too soon. It's too soon.
Jessica said, so Candy, did you just want to bring the date? Based on what you just said, why not choose to step out solo with just your family? Just curious.
I didn't want to. I was in a position where my aunt called me and said, hey, I'm looking over the numbers and I'm doing some of the calls. We have a very big wedding and I wanted to know, are you coming with the +1? I said, yes. She said, who's your +1? I gave her Tamia's information. And so I said, hey, I'm going to invite her if that's okay. She said, absolutely. And so she said, I remember her. And so we started to talk a little bit. And then I reached out to Tamia shortly thereafter and I said, hey, I know you love music. I know you love to dance. My cousin is getting married. I think you met my cousin before. And so we talked about it. And she was like, I'll go with you. I think that would be fun. And so it just literally went from there. But yeah, that's I just I mean we're in the season best friends where again remember I told you guys Sean and I have been going through this for over a year. I know it's very, very, very new for you guys. It is. But again, the question was asked why? Why? And it's because that's what I really wanted to do.
Sheila said Sean looks sad to me. The breakup is affecting her more. Girl, I'm tired.
She's tired. Y'all don't know Sean. Y'all don't know Sean. Sean don't fight sleep.
When I tell you I done looked at this clock so many different times, this is not sad. This is sleepy.
Girl, y'all don't know Sean.
Y'all gonna get to know me better. It's okay. But no, this is sleepy.
If we wasn't live, Sean done yawned about 10 times.
I yawned one time and covered it.
Yeah.
Y'all probably didn't catch it.
Girl, Sean.
This is sleepy.
As soon as we push the button, she going
to
upstairs.
shower and go to bed so fast.
Yeah.
Janetta said, which is why I asked, would you have your own social media page? I pray you can get to a point where you want that social media presence, where us all can stay in contact with you. It's your time to shine. I appreciate that. I will when it's time.
Girl, I told you they over me.
When it's time, they're not over you. They just want to see. They want to see both. Because right now they keep saying that we're gonna see both of our journeys, and they're only seeing yours.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so you guys tell me this. How would you feel? How would you feel? Is it weird? Is it weird for Sean to document her journey on the SJ page? Is that weird? Or would it make sense? Because I don't think a lot of people know and understand the level of time that we spend managing the page and doing posting and creating and all that. Like even today, we were working on stuff for CSJ for hours, right? So is it weird for Sean to not only show bags on SJ, but just basically do everything on SJ for a while?
Simone said, "True. I feel like it's kind of candy center. Sean needs individuality." Christy said, "Don't do it, Sean. Keep it private." It's nothing for me. See, this is the thing. I'm more of a public person than Candy is. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Candy historically has reeled me in. Because when I tell you I don't care, and I say and do what I want to say and do, and I don't.
Oh, Jeanette.
What
Janetta.
You know she's a soror.
So you giving me too much today.
Jacqueline said I would keep SJ the way it is. Don't mix the business with the personal. Exactly.
And that's what we were thinking. So I don't know.
Lori said I think it would be just fine for Sean to come live on SJ. Wanda said that would be fine. Jamie said for those of us who have followed for some time, I don't think it would be weird if she did it.
So maybe it would be confusing for people who just find SJ when they're trying to figure out what's going on over here on this page. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know.
said no, that's where she is most of the time. Everyone here can just follow her personal page. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm not gonna dedicate any extra time because I can't take away from the main thing.
Gloria said the business page should remain business.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I do have a personal page. What I will do is I'll just start utilizing my personal page. I got a personal page. I just don't post on it. So I just start posting on my personal page. That solves the problem. So if you guys are looking for me, you'll come across it. I mean, it's the same name. It's Sean Johnson. It's the same name. And I think I got like a plaid shirt on with a black head wrap, and King K is my cover photo. That's my personal page. So what I will do, like again, I'm not gonna dedicate a whole lot of time over there, best friends. I can't take away from everything that we got going on, and it's not because of Candy. It's because that's my business. I'm an entrepreneur. I can't take away from helping run my businesses and stuff like that to start pouring into this. But if I do something with my friend, or post a picture or have a thought or something like that, I put it on my personal page. That'll be what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Problem solved. But I appreciate the fact that you guys even have an interest, because I honestly didn't think that anybody had an interest. So
Thank you, Key. I love you
appreciate
too.
that.
Love you too, best friend.
Um, I love your person. I thank you so much. Business page remain business page. Okay, good. So there you go. So problem solved. I'll just start utilizing my own personal page. Um, and Kiki said, I really love SJ to stay the way it is. It will. It's not gonna change. It's gonna stay the way it is. Jenna said, I'm only saying this because you talked about getting into maybe motivational speaking, so you have to get your name out there. I got you. I got you. Okay.
Best friend said, would you want to change your name?
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
think somebody said it.
Oh yeah, that was Vic. So you know what? We had that conversation before, Vic, on here. Right now, no. But if it has to happen in the future, then we'll have to cross that bridge. Especially when Candy gets ready to marry again.
Girl, there ain't gonna be no time soon.
But because I wouldn't want to be disrespectful to her future wife. You know what I mean? Like if she's not comfortable, she's like, I am Mrs. Johnson, okay? And she need to then you know we have to cross that bridge when we get to it. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, Deidre, we appreciate you and love you very, very much. And that's exactly how it should be. You know, we want everybody to follow all three pages: Sean's personal page, SJ, CSJ. You know, we always say if you guys are shopping for anything,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
as it relates to, you know, handbags, jewelry, glasses, any of the things that we offer with SJ, consider us first. Consider us first.
Ms. Roro said it's just that everyone wants to see the real Sean. I got you.
Yeah.
You're starting to see her, and I think, and maybe that's the reason why you guys are wanting more, because you're starting to see the person that I once was. And so for that, I take that as a compliment, and I appreciate that because it shows the healing and the growth that I've gone through. So I appreciate that.
What did Miss Gloria say?
She said regular social media business page that destroyed the business with personal. You know what she talking about. So,
Yeah. What's everybody saying? You skipped it.
Chrissy said, keep the name, you earned it. Changing your name is a headache.
I know that's right.
Oh, no, Nadine, absolutely not. We haven't done that in months. She said, so are you guys still sleeping in the same room? No, ma'am. Even before we announced the breakup on the page, that's been stopped.
Months prior
ago.
to.
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's not appropriate.
Wanda said, well, I've been watching you both pretty much from the beginning, so I love you both and want to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Yeah. And it's very interesting because we talked about this before too. And I was always a fan of Sean having her own social media presence. But like Sean said, she was just like, do you know where this is going to take?
It's a lot of work to do a social media page, best friends. It's not just popping on here and posting a picture and saying something and whatever. Like, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with a purpose. It's not just going to be for me to just dump some stuff. Okay. It's going to be purposeful. And when it's purposeful, it takes time and it takes intention. And so that's why I said right now, I don't have the capacity to really do anything like that, but I'll sprinkle a little bit of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I might, I may go live for 15, 20 minutes, let you know how I'm feeling for the day or something like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Post a picture if I'm out with my friends or something like that. You know what I mean? But outside of that, I don't have the capacity to truly create an individualized social media presence because it takes work. It's not just doing something.
Right. And I think because I do majority of the talking here, people, whether they say it or not, have an idea of me not wanting you to do it or me not encouraging you to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's never been any of that. I've always wanted Sean to do whatever it was that she wanted to do, but Sean has been very, very vocal before and now about what she can and can't handle as far as capacity is concerned with all these pages.
Yeah, because Candy does a lot. She does a tremendous amount of work. But I also do a tremendous amount of work when it comes to our social media. So I'm like, if you had to hire a person, I'm like the social media person. Like I'm doing the reels and the posts and the posting on multiple pages, and you know what I'm saying. Like, so it takes a lot. It takes a lot.
When you get in the comments and in the inboxes, we see both. We
Yeah.
both see everything. So it's a lot flipping back and forth between even the two pages. I flipped over there to SJ. I hadn't been over there, and God only knows. I had 100 and some notifications
Oh,
just
sure.
from like yesterday, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So
That's a
yeah,
lot. So, but you guys will get a little bit more of me. You guys want to see the real me? You will start to get a little bit more of me on my personal page. And like I said, you'll know it's my page that I have on like a plaid shirt with a black head wrap, and King K are my cover photo. So
absolutely,
there you have it.
absolutely.
And once I have the capacity to do more on it, then I'll do more on it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal.
All right.
I
Well,
think that's
honey, when I tell you I've had a great time with y'all, one of the best friends even said, "Girl, the highs and lows on this live is a lot."
Well,
it be
listen.
like that though, but that's good conversation,
If you enjoyed this live, this pales in comparison to the virtual event.
baby.
How we ain't talk about the virtual event?
Baby, when we get into them 2 nights and we dive in deep into both of these situations, you talk about highs and lows, baby.
Yes.
You gonna really? You say you want the real Sean? Okay, come on to this virtual event.
We talked about the other one. We ain't talked about this one public.
We never did a virtual event for this one. Y'all think I'm perfect Patty and little. Okay, let's get into it. Let's really start airing some stuff out so you can understand why this woman said enough is enough. Cause I'm not innocent. Okay. Let's put it out there like that.
All right, best
All right.
friends. Well, we love you guys. I hope you have an amazing night. And as we always say, the absolute best is yet to come. But baby, we ain't doing no more work.
No.
I'm going to bed. Good night.